So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monica Estanilo. I'm going to report about the game theory of chapter 5. So as an introduction of game theory, what does game theory means? Game theory is a theoretical framework that conceives social situations among competing players and will produce an optimal decision making of independent and competing actors in a strategic settings. So means this game theory is a kanang framework ni siya in which kanang there are two players or two companies involved in which they are competing against each other by using the same alternative strategy. But the logic of this is that each company or player will have to select one of the best strategy that will have the best possible outcome depend on the point of view. In decision analysis, a single decision maker seeks to select an optimal alternative, while in game theory there are two or more decision makers, which they are called as players, who compete as adversaries against each other. So in decision analysis, isaraka, there is only a single decision maker who is involved. While on the other hand, in game theory, there are two or more who stand as a decision maker. So there are called players. So for example, there are two companies, not just one company who serve as decision maker, but there are the two companies will serve as the decision maker, because each company will have to choose the best strategy will have to choose the best optimal strategy man. So it means dili lang ang isa ka company ang decision maker. So it is assumed that each player has the same information and will select the strategy that provides the best possible outcome from his point of view. So this theory assumes nga each company or each player they have already the same information. But if they already have the same information, then the thing they have to do is to select the strategy that will benefit to that will have kanang best possible outcome for their company. And depend na siya sa point of view. It's either company A ka or player B ka. So this theory describes as two-person zero-sum game. Two-person means that there are two players who are involved in the game. Zero-sum means that the gain of one player will be the equal loss to the other player. So what one player wins will be what other player loses. So let us demonstrate the two-person zero-sum game, considering two companies who are competing for the market share. So suppose there are two companies who are manufacturer of a certain product, which they compete against each other for the place for the market share. In planning marketing strategy for 1 year, each company will have to select the best strategy out of these three strategies that is designed to take the market share. So the three strategies which are assumed to be the same for the both companies are as follows. So these strategies are applied for the both companies. So strategy 1, increase advertising. Strategy 2, provide this quantity discount. And strategy 3, extend warranty. So this is the payoff table showing the percentage gain in the market share for company A. So means kung unsa ang gain, so means if this is a payoff table nga showing sa gain sa market share, sa company A, then it will be the loss for the market B. Kay gain man siya sa market A, so loss siya sa market B. So let us interpret this payoff table. So company A have A1, A2, A3, which correspond to these three strategies. And company B have B1, B2, and B3, which also corresponds to these three strategies. Let's say that company A provide A1 and company B provide B1. Then there will be an increase to the market share of 4% to the side of company A, while there is a decrease of 4% in the side of company B. If company A provide A2 and company B provide B1, then there will be a decrease of 1% to the market share of company A and an increase of 1% to the side of company B. If company A provide A3 and a company B provide B1, then there will be a increase of 5% to the side of company A and decrease to the side of the company B. Therefore, so since it is ang percentage gain for the market share of company A man, so tanan positive nga combination ni siya sa each strategies. Kung positive siya, then it will be the effect of the company A will be increased because it is positive. So if kung positive siya sa market A, then the result of this to positive for the company B will be negative. So on the other hand, if it is negative, kaya aning negative 1, then it will be have a effect for the company A to the decrease of the market share, but have an increase of market share to the company B. Kay kuan man siya kanang negative man siya. So therefore, the company A wants to maximize the payoff that it increase in market share, while company B wants to minimize the payoff because the increase of the market share of the company A will be the decrease for the market share of the company B. So this market share game meets the requirement of two-person zero-sum games. Because two-person, there are two players, which are the two companies, company A and B, and the zero-sum game occurs in a way that the increase of the market share of the company A will be the decrease of the market share of the company B. So the logic of this game theory is that both companies have the same information. So each company will have to select one out of these three strategies to have the best possible payoff or result depend on its point of view. Excuse me. Point of view. So suppose that company A will choose A1. So it will have an increase to the market share of 4%, 3%, and 2%. So company A will assume that the company B will select the B3 strategy, because it will limit the increase of market share to the company A of 2%. So the company A analyzed the game by protecting itself by the strategy that may taken by the company B. So what does the company A did is that the company A identifies the the minimum payoff value of each row of the payoff table. So for each strategy, for each row of its strategy, the company A kanang identifies its minimum value. For example, in A1, in strategy A1, in first row, the minimum value is 2. And the A2, second row, the minimum value is -1. And the A3, for the third row, the minimum value is the -2. -2. So after identifying all the minimum value of each row for each strategy, it gives us the result that the strategy 1 will have an increase of market share to the company A of 2%. Strategy 2 will have a decrease of 1% to the market share of company A. While strategy 3, it will have the decrease of -2 of the market share of the company A. So after considering all the raw minimum values, is that we guarantee that kanang strategy 1 will give a guarantee to the company A that it will have an increase of 2% in the market share. So the company A will select a strategy that provides the maximum of the raw minimum value, which it is called as maximin strategy, in which the player A or company A wants to maximize its minimum guaranteed gain. So in here, the maximum value in the raw minimum is 2%, in which gives us the idea that the company A, by using in first strategy, will have an increase of 2% in the market share. So therefore, the company A selects the first strategy, which is increased advertising as an optimal strategy, because it is an increase in the market share of 2% is guaranteed. Now let us look at the other payoff table from other point of view of our opponent, which is the company B. So the company A as a company B, assume ang company B, let's say nga ni-assume ang company B nga ang i-select nga strategy sa company A kay ang A3, kay mo increase man ang company A og 5%, pero mo decrease sa company B og 5%, which is the loss for the market share of 5% in the company B. So at this point, the company B analyzed the game by protecting itself by the strategy that may taken by company A. Excuse me. So what did the company B kay company B identifies the maximum payoff to company company A for each strategy of B1, B2, and B3. So company B identifies the maximum value for each column of the payoff table. So kanang for the B1, it has the maximum value of 5%. In the B2, it has a maximum value of 4%, and the B3 has the maximum value of 2%. So considering the entries in the column maximum row is that company B can be guaranteed that the decrease of the market share cannot be longer than 2%, which is, so after na na-identify sa company B ang mga maximum value for each column, after na kay gi-identify na sad sa company B ang minimum value sa katunga row column, kay mo man siya ang decrease sa side sa company. So it is guaranteed na there is no longer decrease of 2% of the kanang market share. So company B selects the strategy that provides the minimum of the column maximum values, which it is called as minimax strategy, in which meaning the player B or company B wants to minimize its maximum loss. So thus, after evaluating these values, the company B selects the B3 as its optimal strategy. So gipili ni B3 ay ni company B ang extend warranty as its optimal strategy, because it will give a guarantee to the company B that there will be no longer decrease of 2% to the market share. If there is a pure strategy solution exists in the game, then it is the optimal strategy solution for the player. So these are the following steps that can be used to determine if the game has a pure strategy solution and to identify the optimal pure strategy for each player. For step 1, compute the minimum payoff for each player, which is decided for player A. Step 2, player A select the strategy that provides the maximum of the raw minimums. Step 3, compute the maximum payoff for each column, which is to the side of player B. Step 4, for player B, select the strategy that provides the minimum of the column maximum. Step 5, if the maximum of the raw minimum is equal to the minimum of the column maximum, the value of the game and this value is the value of the game and a pure strategy solution exists. The optimal pure strategy for player A is identified in step 2, and the optimal pure strategy for player B is identified in step 4. If the maximum of the row minimum is not equal to the minimum of the column maximum, then the pure strategy solution does not exist. So which means kan dili pure strategy solution ang optimal strategy for each player, which mean ang gamiton kay ang mixed strategy solution, which will be discussed by next reporter. So this will be all for my report or for my topic. Thank you.